Thank you, Sharon. So it appears that we don't have any questions in the chat box right now. So I guess you did a really fantastic job. Can you guys hear me? Okay, so we're going to give it a few more minutes because there's no questions in the chat box right now. All right, there is one question here. It says, how do we know when the results for a survey are ready?
So when you're, so I think you mean the, okay, I'm trying to understand the question. So if we're talking about ASHI results, you already entered them. And I think that that the question is talking about a report.
Reports,
like the,
yeah.
Okay. So the reports are usually ready a little more than a month after the deadline. So an email notification will be sent out to everyone listed on that personnel list, that email notification list that I have for each lab. It'll go out and say, here's your reports are ready. You can go into the lab center and you can look at your reports.
Okay, thank you. There's another question. It says, if a PO is generated after the PT is ordered, how can we submit the PO?
You can email that to me and I will add it to the invoice. And when you email me the PO number, if you can also send me the email address of the AP department, then I can just add it to the invoice and send it to your AP department. Very easy.
Okay, thank you. Another question is, can you access the PT ordering through Chrome or Microsoft Edge, or is there no requirements for that?
Chrome is recommended if you have issues with Chrome. Firefox is also allowable, but Internet Explorer is not a good option. I believe Edge may be possible, but I'm not positive on that one. I know Chrome and Firefox are fine.
Okay, thank you. Another question is there somewhere to check to be sure that your PT order was received?
Yes, if you are in that ASHI main lab account and the first tab is place an order, the second tab is view your order, you can click on that view order and that will pull up your invoice. If there's a invoice there, that order is then going to go on the order report.
Perfect. Thank you. Another question, can you expand on the 35-character limit for the name and address?
Absolutely. I'm so glad you asked this question because I realized when I was explaining that you don't necessarily have to worry about that limit. That's something that I take care of when you've placed your order. It then goes into a spreadsheet that I send to the vendor. When I'm looking at that spreadsheet, when I pull that report, I am checking every single one of those columns, the lab column, the address column, city, state, country, to make sure that all of those have not gone past the 35-character limit. The only reason why I mentioned that is there are times when orders are being placed in subsequent years, and they may look at a person who's ordering the PT may look at the lab name and say, or just decide that they don't like how it's abbreviated, and they will then put in the full name, like instead of UNIV for university, they'll spell out the whole name. When those changes are made, it's a lot of times I just have to go back in and change it back to the abbreviation because that is what's going to allow me to keep it under the 35-character limit. So as long as you're not making changes in that main lab account for the name and address, you don't have to worry about it too much. But it's just an explanation to let you know that when it's abbreviated in funky ways, especially some addresses, especially for international labs, can get tricky because they can be very long. But it's just to let you know what's going on with that.
Okay, thank you. There's a couple more questions here. So just to verify, when you select quantity 1 for a given test type, so for example, for antibody or for cross-match, this will send you both AC1 and AC2. Is that correct?
Can you ask the first part of the question again?
Yeah, so when you select the quantity of a certain test, so for like example, AC, you choose quantity 1, but that
Mhm.
sends you both AC1 and AC2, correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, and then another question is, the ASHI PTAC samples for crossmatch have no collection date. Where can we get this information?
So with the collection date, all right, I'm gonna look real quick at my schedule for shipment. So most, I think it's actually 100% of the time, when shipments go out, they're shipped on a Tuesday, unless something happens that's out of the ordinary. So all of the shipment dates on the shipment schedule are always based on a Tuesday. That means that the collection date is the day before, on the Monday. And it's the only reason why it takes a whole 24 hours before it's shipped out is because of getting it from the blood supplier to the vendor and the vendor with the packaging. So you can pretty much guarantee that the collection date is the Monday before the shipment day of that Tuesday. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, thank you. There are no further questions at the moment.
Great. So I think that concludes our webinar. I really appreciate everybody joining. I feel like it was a great way to get a lot of information out to a lot of people. And if you have any questions after the webinar, feel free to contact me by email. I really appreciate your time today. And thanks for moderating, and
Thank
Peter
you.
and Sam for joining. All right, have a good day, everyone.
Have a good day.